Thanks for being here, Steve. We're super excited. I appreciate
Likewise.
all of the things that I've learned from you personally over the years. And so I know Heather is also feels the same. So I'll let her do the official introduction. Heather's going to run chat, and then I guess we'll stop you if you have any questions in the middle. So yeah, I'll let Heather go from here.
All right. Good morning, everyone. I see people jumping on right now. So happy Wednesday, everyone. As you all know, we have Steve Olson here on the call with us. So I'm going to share a little bit about Steve and then hand over the stage to him. A couple of things. Steve has run multiple teams and he has quite a background of success. And I don't nearly have the time to dive into everything this man has achieved, but just a few tidbits. His teams in the past, they've sold over 1,000 homes, and he's had, imagine this, over 9,000 coaching calls, both previously as a Team Plus mastery coach with Tom Ferry, and then also through his own coaching program. And he also led the team that built the tech platform that powered TELUS Properties. And as many of you know that are on this call today, that was later acquired by Douglas Elliman. And he also has numerous SaaS startups in the real estate space. And he's currently growing a nationwide expansion team through REAL. And David and I also know Steve personally because he was our personal coach. And he's also responsible for much of the knowledge and the technology and the structure that we run in being able to actually have a structure for our business. So we have a lot of experience with Steve. He's helped us tremendously with our businesses. And we're really excited that he's taken the time to hop on GoodLife and share the 3-phase ad platform with you guys today. So Steve, I'm going to hand it over to you.
You know, you make me a little nervous with that intro, even though I gave you all those stats before this, only because you're so well spoken and you speak like very clearly and calmly. And I don't do that. I go very fast. I probably sound like I'm going to have a panic attack at any given time. I do have a lot to cover. I'm going to give you guys a lot. I don't have any slides to give you. I don't have any visuals. I'm not going to log into the ad manager. Because what I found I've given this presentation, I can't tell you how many times in many different formats before. And I get the same feedback every single time. Hey, 18 minutes into it, you click this button on this screen, you did that. That's not in my ads manager. That doesn't make sense. Can you shoot me a video to show you how to do it? And what I've realized over the months, over the years, is that if you can understand the strategy from a top-down perspective, the ads manager is actually the easiest thing to do. But once you start to look at the ads manager as the tool to pull off what you need to pull off, this stuff gets very, very overwhelming. And what I mean by ads manager, for those of you guys that have never run ads before on your social platforms, is just a business manager on Meta that controls all of the advertising for Facebook, all the different ads strategies there, and Instagram, right? We do a lot on YouTube. We do a lot on Google Display. But for everything that I'm going to talk about today, if the only thing that you had was a Facebook business page, you'd be totally good. You don't need all the other fancy stuff. It works on every platform. Google Display is a little bit different a strategy, but it works the exact same. So I'm going to burn through a 3-step ad process that's going to get you, number one, unaddicted to Zillow and unaddicted to all the lead sources that charge you huge referral fees. I think there are a lot of, Heather and David, I think there are a lot of agents out there. You guys have probably seen them. Hopefully it's still not you guys or not you at all. But 50% of their business is pent up by Zillow and other lead sources that just come in. You pay out these big referral fees, which is totally okay. If you can invest, $5,000 a month and you get an ROI on that, you should bleed that source dry until it never works again. The challenge that I'm seeing in the industry, though, is that if Zillow were ever to pivot, if some of these other services were to ever pivot and bring everything in-house or change their compensation model, which we've seen a million times before, then these agents' businesses, they go like this all over the place, right? So we obviously don't want that to happen. So I'm going to give you a 3-step approach on how you can do this. It's hugely and largely and aggressively and fast-paced content-based. It works with, I would say medium to small budgets. You can't do what I'm going to tell you with like $300 a month. We need a little bit of budget behind this. But what I will tell you is it will scale to almost any unlimited amount. But before we get into that, I want to give you guys 6 rules of advertising plus a bonus. And if you can understand these 6 rules of advertising, I think what it does is it releases that pressure, that it relieves the pressure of you feeling like you need to do everything perfect every single time, right? And I wrote these down in no particular order. I'm just going to go right to my notes. So the first thing that I would write down is there's no such thing as top or bottom of funnel leads, only people. And I'll give that to you again. There's no such thing as top of funnel or bottom of the funnel leads. There are only people. And once you understand this, we can stop getting so like stressed out when we generate 100 registrations and 9 people didn't want to buy a home, all cash, and list their home with us at 19% commission, right? Like those days are just gone. It's way too competitive, right? I remember back in 2011, I think, when I first started with Tom Ferry, there was like 18 of us in the company. And I remember Tom telling a story about a guy going into a village, 2 guys going into a village, excuse me really quick. And they're shoe salesmen, right? And, salesman 1 goes into the village somewhere in South America or Africa or, some underdeveloped part of the world, and talks to the head of the village and says, hey, I've got all these shoes to sell you. And the village guy goes, well, nobody here wears shoes. And the second salesperson goes to another village from a different company, talks to the head of the village, and the village guy says the same thing. Hey, nobody here wears shoes. Well, salesperson 1 calls their manager back and said, I don't know how we wasted all this time and all this money. I went there to talk to the people, they seem like they're very nice, but nobody wears shoes. And then the second salesperson calls his manager and says, you're never going to believe it. I just met with the head of the village and like we struck gold. Nobody wears shoes, right? So it's the same exact perspective in advertising. It's how we see how advertising is supposed to work. If you believe that every single time you spend $1, somebody owes you $1 back, I'm telling you right now, you are going to lose in advertising. The market's way too competitive right now. The market is way too saturated. There's way too much money in hedge funds and tech platforms that are going after this commission dollar. If your expectation is the same as it was in 2014 when the Facebook Ads Manager rolled out, you're going to lose. Mentally, you're going to quit on yourself, all right? So that's only number 1. I still got 5 left to go. Number 2, our goal is to pick a market and avoid being a generalist. Our goal is to pick a market and avoid being a generalist. Now, a market can be a city, it can be a demographic, it can be a product type, it can be any of that stuff, but you need to pick something and you need to stick with it. Our goal is to get our list to 10,000 people. That's it. 10,000 people, and then communicate with them so that when they're ready to buy or sell a home, you are their only perceived choice. Not how can I only advertise to reach the people that want to list their home in the next 21 days? I'm telling you, you don't have the money to do that. Minimum budget to be able to only reach those people, it's on social alone, it's at least $10K a month. If you want to cherry pick and do no follow-up whatsoever, a $10,000 a month budget, which is really only $350 a day, give or take, right? That's your budget. If you're spending anything less than that, the list building technique is your best friend. Number 3, I wrote down, everything works if you track it and adjust. Everything works if you track it and adjust. If you only want to do billboards, it will work if you track it and adjust. If you only want to do YouTube video ads and nothing else, no technology, and you just want to become famous, it will work if you track it and adjust. If you only want to run image ads on Facebook Ads Manager, it will work if you track it and adjust. 4th thing I wrote down, there is no magic video. There is no magic image. There is no magic lead form. There is no magic anything. There's no magic follow-up. There's no magic, like I switch my San Diego hat out every day. They don't make a difference, right? There is no magic anything. It is only cadence of content. That's it. The more you say, I'm a real estate agent, my name is Steve Olson, I live in Carlsbad, California. The more you say that to the more people will remember you as a real estate agent in Carlsbad, California. Number 5 that I wrote down, the more your content looks like content, the better it will do. The more it looks like the ad, the more you'll pay. And I'll give that to you one more time. The more your content looks like content, the better it will do. The more it looks like an ad, the more you'll pay, right? I'll leave that there. Number 6, nothing is dead. You guys hear this all the time. The Facebook lead ads are dead. Homes for sale ads are dead. This is dead. Home valuation's dead. This is dead. Nothing's dead. We just get sick of the shiny pennies and we believe in order to move on to something else, we must declare the thing that we used to do dead. It's not true. In most of your markets, you guys all have this opinion about what Facebook ads work and what don't. But if I was to be in your market and log into your Facebook account and look in your feed, my gut would tell me that all these ads that you think all your competitors are running, you're probably not seeing any of them. And if they're spending the money that we think they are, we would see those ads, and we just don't. I live in one of the most competitive, markets in all of Southern California in regards to average sales price, new home development, all of that. And we have some really, really big performers up here. And I'm telling you, I don't even see their ads. So whatever you think the competition is, take it down 95%. And that's probably what it really is. Number 7, this is the bonus one, even though I told you there was going to be 6. Without leverage, you will eventually quit on yourself. And what do I mean by leverage? Leverage could be VAs. It could be an ads agency. It could be somebody that builds something for you. Leverage could come in the form of a coach, but that's not really what I'm talking about. Leverage could come in the form of showing agents, listing agents, transaction coordinators, anybody that you can get as much time off your plate as possible. If you think that you're going to continue this business for 20 years doing everything on your own, I promise you 2 things are going to happen. Number 1, you're not going to make it 20 years unless you're in a very high average sales price market and you're like the social queen bee of the world. I'm not that person. I'm not, I don't really care about going to groups of people and talking about what the weather's doing right now. That annoys me. I'd rather go surf or watch my son play soccer. Without leverage, you will quit on yourself. In fact, I'll go back to my Tom Ferry years. I don't know one agent that's made it in this business 12, 15, 20 years that has not gone through like 4 bankruptcies, 2 divorces, it's just what happens. And it's not the real estate industry. It's because we choose to do this all on our own. And when you choose to do it all on our own, the average income of a real estate agent, when you're doing everything on your own and there's no sense of community, you'll quit. All right. So Heather, any questions, any thoughts, anything on chat before I get into the actual 3-phase approach?
No, just David's recapping some of your notes for folks. And then let's see here. Maya made a comment, bonus, without leverage, you'll eventually quit on yourself. Jill also agreed it's not possible to do everything. So no, I think we're all ready to hear you jump into this.
Maya, great to hear from you. It's been forever. It's been too long. All right, so let's get into the 3-phase approach. I call it RCC, and I'm going to give you what it is up front so you guys don't need to listen to this whole thing before you guys realize what I'm going to talk about. It's called reach, collect, convert. Reach, collect, convert. Now, David, can I ask you a quick question? Will you role play with me really quick?
Sure.
Are you in the market for a Lamborghini right now?
Not right now.
What if it was a 1 of 200 color and the only place you could get it from would be from me? Would you buy it?
Not right now, I wouldn't.
I'll give you $20,000 off.
Maybe 50 off?
Okay, I'll give you 50 off. It's $460,000. You want to buy it?
Sure, let's do it. Okay,
so I obviously didn't prep David for that at all. That's how most real estate agent marketing goes. Right? We just say, buy the stuff, buy the stuff, buy the stuff, buy the stuff, buy the stuff. And if I would have prepped David, I would have told David, like, David's not going to buy I'm not going to buy a $480,000 car at $50,000 off, even though it's a great deal. Not because it's not a great deal, not because it's 1 of 250, not because it's exclusive, not because I would be the only friend that would have a Lamborghini. For the sole reason of I'm not in the market for a Lamborghini, whether I can afford it or not. So just stop trying to tell me that this Lamborghini is a really good deal, right? Most of our marketing is like, buy the stuff, buy the stuff. And the worst thing, don't worry about what the news says. It's a great time to buy a home. All my clients are winning right now. Don't worry about 19% interest rates. You can always refinance. Like, the consumers hear this stuff and they're like, shut the f up. That's all they hear when they see this stuff. You guys could survey if you were bold and you had no emotional, like, caring about anybody else like I do. One of the great qualities that I think I was born with, and I thank my parents for this, is I genuinely don't care how people respond to my thoughts and opinions. Like, it just doesn't. Now, Heather can't come up to me and call me a loser and cut me down. That's going to affect me. But like, if you don't agree with what I say, like, it doesn't affect me one way or another. It's just the way that I feel. And I have a total easy way of doing it. But if you were to survey your clients and you were bold, or even people you knew, and just say, hey, what are 3 things that you love about real estate? And here's what I know here's what I think you're going to see. They're going to struggle to tell you what those 3 things are. Like, and when I say struggle, they're going to have to consciously think about it. Okay. If you tell them what are 3 things that annoy you about real estate agents, they're going to rattle them off like that. And here's why. This is my opinion. Again, you guys can agree or disagree. Nobody gets into real estate on purpose. I didn't. I'll just be super transparent. They got into real estate because they left a previous career. They didn't know what to do. They like people, they like houses, and they think the commissions are huge. So I'll just go talk to a bunch of people and all my friends are clearly going to use me as their real estate agent because, I mean, why wouldn't they? I'm their friend. And what we figure out in the business is they don't do it, right? They ghost us, and, you know, it's very emotionally taxing, right? And it's for all the reasons that we've covered all the way or so far in this podcast, because we just think that the more that we tell people it's okay to sell, it's a great, I watched literally a 13-minute video yesterday, Heather, on an ad that I saw from a real estate agent running a replay of a webinar. And the title of the webinar was like 6 reasons why now is the best time to sell. And like, the webinar was okay. The production of it was okay, but the reasons by it, and I don't want to use my kids' words of like cringe or anything like that. But the reasons were like just straight up sales, sales, sales. I need a commission check. And so, you know, I'm going to tell you all this stuff to make you feel safe. In fact, one of the number one rules of selling, the easiest way to sell something to somebody who's not ready to buy is to first convince them that they have a problem that may not exist. Right? Or just call me from Alabama. I can talk to you later. And I think we're guilty of doing that a lot is we try to tell that, hey, it's, you know, forget about everything that's going on. Just go ahead and sell anyway. So let's get into reach, collect, convert. It's 3 phases. I'm going to give you all the content ideas. I'll give you the budget. I'll give you everything, right? So if you're not as dumb as I am, I would just write down, or Maya's probably going to transcribe everything that I'm going to say right now and put it in chat. But I'm going to go relatively quick. I don't want you to overthink this. Remember what I said, rule number 2 or 3, there is no such thing as magic content. I know when you guys go to these seminars, right? Because I look at my Facebook feed and I see 91 of you post the same dumbass question over and over and over and over again, right? If you think that I'm the only one seeing that 91 times, I'm telling you, I'm not. Like, I wish you guys could post and then instantly turn the computer around and see all of your clients' reactions, right? They're like, whatever, unfollow, delete, don't care. I thought my agent was great. And if I have time, I'll tell you about a lottery ticket story that I did in Phoenix that I got humbled pretty bad on. And it was a big freaking learning lesson from me. And it came from going to a conference, getting an idea. So, oh my God, this is a great idea. I'm going to get like 50 listings from it because my list is huge. I spent like $4,000 on lottery tickets. I mailed them out. And the response of it was very bad. I'll tell you that later, though. Okay, let's talk about reach. I want you to think of reach as content that you create about everything. Okay, now I'm going to say if you want to shortcut your distance to success, it's video. And I'll give that to you again. If you want to shortcut the distance to success, you're going to lean heavily on video. Now, does that mean we can't do images? Does that mean we can't do podcasts? Does that mean we can't do written form content? No, you will still have success with all of those. If you want success quicker, you're going to do it over video. Here's why. While they're looking at all the content, they learn who you are. I had somebody actually just last week get on the call from a coaching. They were thinking about coming into the schedule. And one of the things they brought up was you're not as professional and polished as other people that we've done. Like, you wear a hat most of the time. Like I wore a polo shirt for you guys because I respect you more than most. But normally I'm in a t-shirt and I really don't care. And you know, most of these times, like I did take a shower this morning and get ready, but most of the times this early, like I'm literally getting out of the ocean. I take a shower outside, I take my wetsuit off, put my shirt on, put the hat on, and I get on video. And they said that we think you're a little bit lax for our business. And I said, you're totally right. What? You're totally right. And I wouldn't work with me either. Oh, and you could tell they kind of hesitate. I said, look, if you're already having objections based on the hats that I wear, you won't listen to anything I hold you accountable for. So let's just call it what it is and move on right now. And we did. I ended the call 3 minutes later and they sent me an email saying, hey, that was a little harsh. What they said was a little harsh. We'd like to have another conversation. And I said, all good. Our typical first impressions are normally the first ones. And if it's already like this right now, there's no reason to move forward. And listen, you should have no ego in saying things like that, because if they challenge you up front, you guys have probably already figured this out. If they challenge you up front, it's just going to get worse from there. It's not going to get better, right? Most relationships that start off negative end worse. Most relationships that start out positive end better. And the whole purpose of video is for you to identify, and I don't know a better word to use for this, and I'm probably going to get in trouble, but it's for you to identify your tribe. Like, who wants to naturally work with you? Who loves the way that the way that you speak? Who loves the way that you see the world? You know, do they dress the same way? Like I'm a musician. I still drum every single day. I was in a band that was signed and that toured in the early 2000s. Like, it is in my DNA to drum and play guitar. And so, and all these are my favorite shows that I've been through. My whole office is wrapped in these. If you don't like Pearl Jam and Tool and Dave Matthews Band and The Used and POD, like whatever, dude, I don't care. Like, I'm not going to put different artwork over there because it makes me feel less professional. But you should do what you really do in video because of who you are. People will tell all day long as I get into these topics, when you are trying to fake it until you make it, or trying to be somebody else based on the market you want to serve, it will pour through your content. It will be glaringly obvious that you don't sell luxury real estate, or that you don't sell multifamily real estate, or that you just moved to Carlsbad, California, or that, you know, maybe you live in a different city and you're trying to break into another market. And I'm not saying you shouldn't do any of that. I'm saying that you should just call it what it is. You know, if you want to move into a new market, one of the video things that I would create would just be, hey, I just moved here and I'm going to create a video every single day for 95 days around the 95 reasons I chose to move to Carlsbad, California. And now, like, think about how easy that content is. You don't have to lie about, well, I've never sold a home here before. I don't really know the neighborhoods, or I don't know the zip codes, or I don't know the schools, or, you know, I don't know why this architecture, like, you don't have to worry about any of that stuff. And saying like, well, I'll get back to you on that, because you're using the very reason that you're uncomfortable with as the marketing message to build the list. And I've coached people to do this. And I'm telling you, it 100% works, because people love people that are go-getters. We think that the reason why that number one agents in the market get all the business is because they're number one. No, they're number one because they just do it more than you do. It has nothing to do with consumer perception. All right. So let's talk about the content in the reach phase. Number one, you can create video content around homes for sale. Here's what I mean by that. Our favorite homes for sale. What sold this week? What got listed this week? The most expensive homes. I wouldn't do the cheapest homes. You could if you wanted to, but I would only do that like 3% of the time. I would try to stay away from that because we don't want to identify people that can't afford homes, right? Condos for sale, apartments for sale, homes for rent, homes with an ocean view, 4-bedroom homes, homes with a pool, you know, like the biggest homes for sale, the tiniest homes for sale. And we're just doing, like, if you guys don't do anything else, and you don't have any technology, like, literally go to Zillow, find a home that you like, take a screenshot of it, go on Instagram, do a green screen reel, and just talk about it and point to it. Hey, if you're thinking about buying a home in Carlsbad, California, and your budget is a little under $2 million, this is the home that I would be looking at right now. And the reason why I would look at this is because, based on my research, it's the only 4-bedroom home under 2 million with a pool that has an ocean view that is within this school district. And I just really like this home. If you want to take a look at it, comment below and I'd be happy to show it to you. That's a 1-minute video. That's a really simple script. Now, some of you are going to say, well, that's not my listing, or I'm not allowed to do that in my market. Dude, get over it. Yes, you are. You are allowed to do it, right? Like, just do it. Stop getting over, stop getting so emotional about the content that you create. Don't get overly techie, and just do whatever you can to post this every single day. Second thing under content, our listings. Could be your listings that you take specifically, could be listings at your brokerage. If you're at the most amazing brokerage, like the 3 of us are at Real, then you can use any brokerage and really any listing in the entire state. Great culture over here. The third thing I wrote down is what is going on in the market. How many homes got listed this month? How many homes sold this month? How many are under contract right now? What's the average sales price? What's the median sales price? What's the days on market? What's the median days on market? Where do I think the market's going? Where is it not going? If you're thinking about buying a home, here's the 3 biggest challenges. Here's the 3 things that are really easy. Like, just give everything away. Don't give most of it away. Give every single thing away. And again, these videos are 1 to 5 minutes long. If I were you, I'd try to create as many of these in vertical format as possible so you can use them in the most amount of places. You can film in this format, film in this format, and then cut it down in whatever, video software that you use. That's totally okay. But the videos that you export should be in vertical format. It's just going to get more juice from all the platforms. Market opinions, that's letter D. Letter E, what to do when selling. Like, give everybody every single thing that they need to know when selling. Why should you run Facebook ads? Why photos matter? Does drone photography matter? Does a 3D tour matter? Zillow's got a new listing, the Matterport type map feature. Does that matter? Should you put your home on listing or on Zillow? Should you do a coming soon? Should we pre-market? What about a sign in the yard? Does staging matter? Should you clean your house? How much money should you spend? Like, there is an unlimited amount of content that you can give away up front. You're overthinking. And some of you are watching this either live or on the replay, and you're like, well, what about my competitors? If I give all this stuff away, aren't they going to do it? And the answer is yes, they're going to do it, but for 3 days. And then they'd be like, wait a second, I did this for 3 days and I don't have 30 listings. This shit doesn't work. I'm going to go do something else. So, like, be flattered that they're copying you. I know it because like I literally have webinar landing pages that I've built myself on Elementor. I don't use templates. I don't use ClickFunnels or any of that crap. And I see other people literally using the exact same pages, right? And that's okay. I don't really care. It's not like I'm a award-winning designer by any means, but like you can tell people do that because most agents, and I say this with respect, they don't have the ability to think for themselves. And when they don't think for themselves, they have to take inspiration from everybody else. And when they do that, they'll get results and then they quit. So your very competition that's copying you are the very people that are never going to get your business. So just keep going. Okay. Letter H, success or social proof, what you sold, what's working, client reviews. Don't like, this is my opinion again, and this, you guys can agree or disagree. I think the posts of, I would like to thank my client for closing successfully on this. Thank you so much. Like, don't do that shit. Like, do you want to know how you thank a client? You buy them something, or you call them, or you take them out to dinner and say, you know what, I'm really grateful. Or like David is, I've referred a couple of people to David, a couple of family members. And like David, I just went to Colorado and I think I told you guys, I was in this yurt at Winter Park. And we had the worst, and I'm terrified of lightning for those of you guys who don't know this. We had the worst freaking storm I've ever gone through in a yurt in the middle of the night. And I thought I was going to have to I thought there was like an EF4 tornado outside of our yurt. It was horrible. And I was in the yurt with my two kids who are 13 and 10. And I'm like, what are they going to think of their dad when he takes all his clothes off, runs out the front door, hoping that he can, go to, cleaner pastures with all this stuff. But even in the family, sorry for the sidetrack there. Even with the family gathering, like David's name came up like 6 times from people like my father-in-law, Dan's brothers and no, I was going to say sister, but she's the one that passed away. But I've never even spoken about the transaction before. And all of them individually came up to me and said, hey, that David guy that you referred us, like, he just killed it. Like, that's the best to thank you that I could ever see is when that. And David, how long ago was that? That was a while ago.
Yeah, it was last year.
Oh, it was just last January. Okay, I thought it was a few years. And they're still talking about it. Like, that's all we need. You know what I mean? That's all we need. So that's what I mean by social proof. Letter I, why we love real estate. I think this is the best industry in the world. Like, no joke. And I could give you 7,000 reasons why I think this is the best industry in the world. And you may think, well, that's more of agent to agent communication. Just do it. Just tell everybody why you love what you do. Letter J, things to do. Why do people live in Carlsbad, California? Why do people live where you live? Right? Places to eat. That does very well. It's very shareable, but it's not the easiest to get leads on. So I would take like things to do and place to eat. And that'd be like 10% of the content. All right. So we're going to create all of this content. I know what you're thinking, like, well, how many of these a day do I make? Like, I'd make 10. I'd literally do it that much. All right. And then we're going to run a few dollars a day to each one of these posts. And Facebook's going to say, hey, these 9 posts are doing good. These 4 suck. So you turn the 4 that suck off and you put more money behind the ones that Facebook says is good. If your videos are doing really well on Facebook and you're running video views campaigns, Facebook is going to tell you it's really good if your average cost per through play, that's THRU play, is somewhere between 1 and 2 pennies. Okay, so if you can get a through play on a Facebook ad between 1 and 2 cents, Facebook is saying, hey, we think this video is doing good. All right. If you're getting 4, 5, 6, 10, 15, 20, 30 cents per through play, Facebook is telling you, hey, thanks for creating the video, but we don't think the people that you are showing this to like this video. So we're going to jack the billing way up. That's how we know these ads are doing well. All right. We're going to create these posts. We're going to publish them publicly on your page. This is really important. Right? We're going to make the post, whether it's a reel or a post on your business page. Forget about your personal, because I know you guys, because I'm the same way. I have 4,996 friends or something and you're all real estate agents. I mean, I love you all, but you're probably not going to buy a home from me. Now, sure, there's referrals, right? So this entire strategy is Facebook business page. Don't go to a conference and tell everybody, oh, just like my business page. If a bunch of realtors like your business page, that's totally fine, but that's not the goal. That's what personal pages are, right? Once we publish those publicly on our page, then instead of building the creative in the ad, we're just going to select the option as it says use an existing post. That's what we're going to do. But we're still going to build it in the ads manager. We are not going to publish this via the boost feature on the post publicly. I just want to make sure I'm really clear with this. All right. We don't want to worry about lead generation in this phase. We're purely trying to get exposure. That's it. We want to get as many people in our city plus 15 miles to see these videos as possible. We want to do it as much as possible, as often as possible. Okay. This works really well. I said this earlier. If you stick to a unique area, city, or a demographic. Now we can't say like only run this to, Hispanic people that make 400,000 that drive a Porsche that live north of, San Diego. Like you can't run that, right? So we just do a city plus 15 miles. Could you do this in San Diego County or Orange County or all of Colorado? You could, but you're gonna have to jack your budget way up. Okay, so it does work on a wider audience, and I can tell you because I've done this a lot before on much bigger audiences. But when you do it that much, you got to jack your spend way up. All right, so I just want to make sure I'm super clear on that. Next thing I wrote down, your budget for phase 1, which is reach, is 60 to 70% of your total budget. 60 to 70% of your total budget. Minimum budget that I would spend total to get results in the first 30 days would be $1,500 a month total for all 3 of these phases. Okay, that would be the absolute minimum that I would spend. Now, if you have a Facebook page that has over 1,000 likes or follows or whatever they call it today, and you post 5 videos a day, Facebook will push you. It's a little, we're not going to talk about organic content too much today, but I will tell you, if you post 5 videos every single day, 7 days a week, 1-minute reels, whatever you want to do on your Facebook, the organic reach on Facebook 100% is back. And we're seeing stuff like, we have I have one page that has like 40-something thousand follows, another one that has 6,000. I think my professional coaching one has about 6,500. And on every one of those, when we post content, it works, right? So a year ago, you post it, like 3 people would see it, and you have 10,000 followers, because Meta is trying to eat everybody else's lunch. Obviously, they're going after Twitter, they're going after TikTok, right? So just use that with, do what they tell you to do and use that against them, right? We're going to create a custom audience from everything in the reach phase. And it's only 2 custom audiences you need to create. Number 1, it's all page engagements. So if you go to Business Manager, you click on audiences, you click create new, create custom audience. The goal of the audience is going to be page engagements. A page engagement is anybody that views your page, clicks page and post engagement, sorry, is what it's called. They can view your page, they can view a post, they can like a post, they can comment on a post, they can share a post, they can click a post, they can watch a video, or they can click a link. That's a page posting. So anytime that happens on our page whatsoever, organic or paid, we're going to shove them all into a custom audience. Heather, give me a thumbs up if you guys are tracking with me on that, or if I went too fast. Okay. And like, you guys know this, like, just wave your hand and flip me off and say, stop, repeat yourself, because I know we're on a time limit and I have like 17 more pages of notes. Just kidding, I don't. Second custom audience that you need to create is video view. So every video that we upload that goes into the reach phase, we want to create a custom audience. And we have to do this manually. This is not a set it once and forget it, right? We want to create a video views phase 1 custom audience. And every time we upload a video to Facebook and we put it in an ad, we need to manually add that video to this custom audience. Now, I'm not going to explain how to do it. Once you do it once, you're like, oh, this totally makes sense. This is easy, but this is not a set it and forget it. You have to do this every single time you upload a video. I think you can have, it used to be a maximum of 250 videos in any given audience. I've heard that they've since made that unlimited, right? I don't have any audiences that have 250 videos in it, so I can't verify that either which way. But just know that's probably what the rule is. And all we're saying in that custom audience is anybody who watches a through play or 15 seconds of a video, put that person in this audience and keep them there for 365 days. The reason why you can do 5-second and 10-second views, don't do that. Do 15 seconds, because statistically, if they've stayed on the video for 15 seconds, they've turned on the audio. It's really important, because if nobody turns on your audio, your video views are worth nothing. The easiest way to get them to turn on your audio is we use DaVinci Resolve. It's a one-time fee of $300, and you get DaVinci Resolve forever. You can use Descript. There's some other tools that you can do. Descript's like $30 a month. You need to embed the subtitles in fancy, kind of like Alex Hormozy does. You need to embed the subtitles in the video, because when people see the subtitles and they're at work and they're in the toilet or whatever they're doing, because that's where people watch short form video, they can see the subtitles and they can then determine, oh, I'm going to turn the audio on because what this dude is saying sounds interesting. But if there are no subtitles, they're only going to turn on the audio based on how you look. And I don't know about you guys, like, I'm the ugliest person on this call. Like, I don't want anybody like judging me based on how I look. I want them to see those subtitles. All right. So that's really, really important. If you use Descript or DaVinci Resolve, the paid version for $295, you will notice an immediate jump in video consumption if you use subtitles. Okay, so that's the reach phase. I'm going to take a breath. David, Heather, any questions, any thoughts, any interruptions? Can you cover something else before I move on to phase 2?
I have a quick question for you. So
Yeah.
when you're trying to determine if something is performing well or when you should turn it off, how long do you run the ad for?
Good question. If you spend at least $3 a day and it goes for 4 days, you'll know what you need to know.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. You want to get through, you're never going to get through the learning phase on this stuff. Keep in mind, we have, and we're not going to get into like campaign setup, right? But you have a campaign that's called video views, and then the ad set's going to be like, Denver or Aurora or whatever, plus 15 miles. And then you're going to have a whole bunch of ads in that. I mean, you may have like 40 ads, David, going at one time, but you're only spending a few bucks and it's going to split test it for you. If you want to spend $3 or $4 per video, then you need to create one different ad set for every one of those videos. So Facebook gives you that juice. I think it's totally okay to have 20, 30, 40 of those running at any given time. Now, again, at $3 a day with 30 ads in it, are you going to learn? Probably not. But I think what you guys are going to find is you're going to get that first call and they're going to get on with David and they're going to say, like, again, I'll go back to my father-in-law who spoke to Dave. Like, I beat him up pretty aggressively and said, like, dude, don't ask him any questions. Just sign the freaking agreement, okay? Like, he's a super analytical guy. He has a ton of questions, and I can only imagine what David went through, right? But I told him, like, you don't need to ask him how good he is. Let's just be very clear. I'm not going to give you anybody else. Go sign the paperwork and just let him sell the home. And, pending a few details that I probably don't know about, I think that's what happened. When you run video, they come to you the same way. Like, David, I feel like I already know you, man. You talked about this and you talked about that and had all these questions and you answered all those questions. Like, really, I just want to know, like, what you think my home could sell for, and do you have enough room to take me on as a client? I think I put this on my notes somewhere. I don't see them, and I probably put them on later. Here's the weird thing about creating video is the more video that you create, the more successful people think you are. This is really weird. Right. And I'll give that to you again. The more content and video you create, the more successful people you are, not the more busier people think you are. I don't think you're any busier than anybody else. They just think you're more successful because you're more public about it. Now, you will hear people say, do you have time to take me on as a client? I would never, ever, and it's not as bad today as it was maybe a couple of years ago, especially during COVID. I think this ran rampant. I would never create posts about, oh my God, my hectic schedule, 17 showings and 3 listing appointments. And look at all these 19 offers all over my desk. I'm so busy. All you are telling people is, don't call me. I don't have time for you. Don't call me. I'm not going to follow up. Don't call me. I don't care. Like, that's all you're telling them. Do not ever tell anybody how busy you are, or like, how overwhelmed you are, or the life of a real estate agent. Like, I see these memes that people have with like messy hair and how stressed out it is to have kids and be busy with real estate and in the car and school and camps and soccer. All you are telling people is that you can't manage your business. Don't do that. Okay. Can we move on to a collect? This is a really easy one. Number 1, these are just lead generation ads on Facebook. That's it. Again, no fancy landing pages, no technology. We're just going to use lead generation forms on Facebook and Instagram. That's the engagement of this. Okay. We're going to give them, again, we're going to do videos, we're going to do text ads, we're going to do images. That's totally fine. We can use all 3. The only purpose of this is to tell people in the video, if you're thinking about buying a home, the number 1 challenge that we're facing in the market is this. If you want to download our specific 5-page guide or 6 steps to achieve this when selling your home, click below, let us know where to send it via email. That's it. So, and we're only going to run these ads to those 2 custom audiences we created in phase 1. And the reason why we only run these ads to phase 1 is because I want people to know who I am first before I ask them for their info. The other reason we use Facebook ads is because if you create a fancy squeeze page and you ask them for your phone number, nobody will give it to you, right? Not to say that phone numbers on Facebook are accurate by any means. They're 50% inaccurate, but if you put it on a squeeze page, you'll never get it. Your registration rate will be sub 1% and you'll be frustrated. So use Facebook lead ads for this. You should connect them to a CRM. We use Keep. You could do automatic follow-up. You could do all that fun stuff. Not important, not crucial, not required to do what I'm going to do, telling you to do right now, but it will make it a lot easier to convert more deals. So Facebook lead form. If you don't have any technology, if you don't use a WordPress page builder or lead pages or ClickFunnels or high level or any of those page builder stuff, then I would just give them the PDF as a download on the final step of the lead form. That's what I would do. And I would just have a lead notification from Facebook come to you that says that, David at this phone number, at this email requested this, and then you follow up manually on your phone. That would be worst case scenario. If you're watching this live or you're watching this as a replay and you don't have an enterprise level CRM, like you should just hang up right now. You should get off this webinar. You should quit the business. You should go flip burgers. Like if we're in 2023 and you're not using like legit technology to keep yourself organized and send out marketing campaigns, like I can't help you. There is no help, right? And if you don't admit it, just hang up and go sign up for something and feel good about yourself. That would be better than nothing. We could do specific lists on things that you need to know before you sell your home, specific lists on things you need to do before you buy a home. Webinars work obscenely well. I'll give that to you again. Webinars work obscenely well. Yes, it's manual. Yes, you got to go out there and pay $80 a month for Zoom. We use Vimeo live stream. That seems to work a lot better. I really don't care about the engagement anymore. I used to follow chat. I just don't care, right? Don't care. And the reason why I don't care, it's not because I don't care. It's because I want to do as much of this as possible and I don't want anything slowing me down. So whatever webinar software you use, it's totally okay. You could use private YouTube live stream if you want at no cost. That would be totally okay for a webinar. So if you wanted, do a 30-minute webinar around the 3 stats you need to know before you sell your home and 5 things you need to do. And if you have any questions, contact me after. Trust me, do 3 of those a week. I don't know about you guys, but if I had 4 people show up to that and 1 person had questions and I did that twice a week, how many of you know that that would be the only marketing tool you would use in your business, period? Like that would be the most profitable thing that you do. I know that most of you on this call are not meeting with 8 people a week and signing 2 listings every week. Unless I'm wrong, put in chat if you're doing that right now. Most agents are not doing that. But if you go to webinars, that's your listing presentation. Like whatever you talk about, that's your listing pitch. Because after that, it's like, well, look, I love your content. I love the videos. I love that you're committed. I love that you love where you live. Do you have the time to take me on? What's your fee? And what do you think we should go to market at? Well, here's what I think we do. Cool. We sign it. And we move on, right? That's what happens when we do webinars. Those work really well. Is now the best time to sell? Be honest. Literally on the webinar, be honest. Listen, if you're thinking about selling your home and you have a lot of equity and you want to roll that equity into another home at a 7% interest rate, your mortgage payment probably is still going to double. And if you're okay with that, we can bring you success. But to believe that you're going to be able to buy the home with the equity that you have and lower your payment at a lower interest rate, I got news for you guys. Those days are over. I've been in the business 17 years. I've been through the downturn. We ran a huge REO team. We ran a huge investment team. We moved markets. I've run, multiple market teams. I'm building a nationwide team right now. I can't say I've seen everything, but I've seen everything. And one thing that I will tell you is that in my life, I'll be 43 on August 14th. For all of you guys that want to send me like $1 million. Now you know that that's my birthday. I don't think that we're going to see 3% interest rates ever again. And if you look at the last 70 years of average annual interest rate, it only happened one time. That's it. One time ever. And we learned our lesson. It ruined the real estate economy. And if you guys aren't talking about this over and over and over again, the reason why we are in this problem is that interest rates were too low for too long. Now you have people that have 50% equity in their home. They're in 2.875% mortgages. Home prices in many markets have doubled and tripled. And we wonder why nobody's selling their home. Like why financially, unless you were relocating, or if you're like, Heather and I, who saw the light in moving to the coast because we believe that it's California and the rest of the country. Like that's how the map looks to people that live in California. Like you shouldn't sell your home. Like it just is what it is. Like, well, my brother, I want to buy this $600,000 home in Chandler. Great. We need to rent your home. Well, I can't afford to do it without renting the home. Then don't sell the home. You're a moron to let go of that 3% interest rate. You will always, for the rest of your life, you will beat inflation with that interest rate. So just call it what it is. Nobody is buying a home right now because they think it's a great time to buy a home. They are only buying because they are not a homeowner and they believe that they are eventually going to miss the boat, or they are buying because of an indisputable, uncontrollable life event, or they want some huge upgrade in their park and cash. Like that's your clients right now, right? First home market, second home market, vacation market, investment market, it's all the same. So rather than trying to convince the public that it's okay to buy a home, don't waste any effort on that whatsoever. Spend all of your time creating content to identify the people that are going to move in spite of everything that's going on right now. Because I got news for you. They're still doing it. Okay. So don't waste any time on content trying to convince people this is a great time to buy. Maybe it is, maybe it's not. I would argue that in every cycle, it's probably a bad time to buy, and it's probably a good time to buy in every single cycle. Consumers see through that. They get very frustrated. You don't want to do it. Okay. Before you do anything, I would answer any question that you have around buying or selling a home. That's what phase 2 content is. That is the convert phase of this. Convert meaning I'm going to give you content in exchange for you giving me your info. That's what I mean by convert. So every campaign we run in phase 2 that's going to go to the audience of the 2 custom audiences that we created in phase 1 is meant to just simply ask for your contact info. We're not going to ask anybody to meet with us. We're not going to ask anybody to schedule a call. We're not going to ask them to be a realtor. We're not going to do any of that stuff, right? We're just going to say, hey, if you want this stuff that's a little bit more cooler than the stuff I talked about earlier, you need to pony up and give me your contact info. You want to join me on the private live webinar that I do with my clients twice a week about where the market's going and what you should be concerned about if you're thinking about selling your home. You got to give me your info to be on that. That's private stuff. And I want to make sure that I can control that, right? That's kind of what we're thinking when we do that. That's phase 2 convert. So as I clear my throat, Heather, David, questions on this? 20 to 30% of your ad budget is on phase 2. I want to make sure I say that. Any thoughts on that?
I saw you unmute. Go ahead, David.
Oh, I was waiting for you to unmute. No, I think I'm good on this one. I thought I wrote down a question here, but I didn't. Heather, what do you have?
I don't have a lot of questions. I just really love watching how this flow is unfolding, because something that I appreciate is that there's a lot of reason behind how you structure your phases and your funnels, and it's a really natural flow. So this doesn't feel jarring. It doesn't feel salesy. It just feels like a natural path of what someone who wants to buy or sell a home will need. And it's just really nice because it lowers that resistance. This feels like a path of, wow, Steve just somehow read my mind and gave me the next step of what I'm looking for. So I really love the natural flow of what you're sharing with everyone today.
Well, and the cool thing, thank you for that, Heather. I think the cool thing is that you don't have to rely on all this bullshit technology that we're just spoon-fed. Like we have to have a Boomtown site, and you have to have this app, and like you don't. All you need to do, like Sharon says this. We've been saying this, and I'll give him credit because he said this way before I latched on it. But your easiest prescription for scale and success is fame. The more people who know who you are and do what you do, or know what you do, the more money you make. And so again, it's not do I use Chime stuff, or do I use a good friend of mine, Chris Morrison, who built Geographic Farm, and I would credit him to really building the first legit home valuation tool that everybody ripped off after that. Like, it's not his tools, and he's been acquired actually by Chime. They use all his technology. Like, there is no magic app, but the more that you're known, the more that people know, oh, that's Steve Olson. He runs a nationwide team. This is how he attracts people to Real. This is what he does. Like, the more people that can know that about me, easier it gets. Grant Cardone, I don't really like the terminology that he uses, but he said the more people that, nobody can flow me if they don't know me, right? And I'm sure he just does that because it rhymes. And I don't know, it's a Miami term, I think is what everybody says, flow me. But it's so true. Like, his goal is to get 7 billion people in the world to know who he is, because only then can he do what he wants to do. It's not about what he sells or all of that stuff. It's just like, if I can't get you to understand who I am, everything else is secondary. Okay, let's get to the convert. The convert's probably the easiest thing of this entire funnel. And this is the stuff that you guys are already doing right now that, like, you just need to do, but you need to do it at the end of the stage of this funnel. Okay. So first time we run all this content, we collect them all in custom audiences. Then we take everybody in those custom audience. We run lead ads to them saying, hey, if you're thinking about buying a home, there's 3 steps you need to take. Download this cheat sheet here. We're going to collect everybody's email. That's going to go into Keep or whatever you use. All these emails are going to fire out. Everybody on this call should be sending an email at least twice a week to your list. Not an email that says buy from me, not an email that says sell from me, an email that keeps everybody informed of what's going on, the deal of the week, all of that stuff. If you are not emailing twice a week, you suck. Let's just call it what it is, right? You got to do it twice a week. Don't suck. Send 2 emails a week. I get like 300 emails a day. I don't respond to any of them. I don't really care about email. If you think that you are sending too much email, nobody freaking cares. They don't care, right? All they care about is like, oh, there's that David Matthews guy again. There's Heather Connor again. I keep seeing her stuff about, GoodLife or the move from Crested Butte over to San Diego. Like, I just keep seeing this stuff, and I'm not ready to talk to them now, but when I am, I know that Heather Connor's the girl I'm going to go to, right? Whatever you think you're doing, you need to do more. Phase 3 convert. All we're going to do, and I'm going to give you a script right now, is we're going to create 4 to 6, 4 to 6, not 46 variants of what I'm going to tell you. Right. And this is going to be a 30 second to 2 minute video. And we're going to talk right to the camera, and we're going to ask for the deal. Okay. And that script is very simple. Hey, my name is Steve Olson. I'm a real estate agent here in Carlsbad, California. If you're like most of my clients, you've probably seen our posts all over Facebook, all over Instagram, all over YouTube. And if you're thinking about buying a home right now, there's probably 3 challenges you're facing. Number 1, should I be buying a home with interest rates as high as they are? Number 2, how do I buy a home when there's no inventory? And number 3, if you're thinking about selling your home, should you hold on to it right now and keep it as a rental, or does it make sense to sell it? I'm having these conversations with people on a weekly basis over and over and over again. And believe it or not, 50% of them, I don't think should be making the move right now. If you're like all of those clients and you want the answers to those questions as it pertains to your specific situation, I've put a link above this video to where you can give me a little bit of details about what you're looking to do. You'll schedule a call with me. There's absolutely no obligation. There's no sales pitch. It doesn't cost anything. I'm just going to answer every question you have. And if you like what we do and you think it's the right time to move forward, then we can formalize that process only if you think it's the best option to go. But I want to make sure you get all of your questions answered. Again, no aggressive sales pitch, no anything. I just want to help. So if you want to do that call, it's 15 minutes. It's really easy. It's free. I wouldn't even get on video with you. We'll do it over the phone. Click above, schedule it there. And I'm super happy to help. Thank you so much for watching all of our video. We're not going to stop. It's going to keep coming. I just want to see if we can help. All right. So we're going to give that plead. And again, I don't know how long that was, 30 seconds. It wasn't long, but we're talking right into the lens, and we're having that one-on-one conversation like they're right in front of us. And we're doing it from the perspective of, dude, I got you. Like, it's not as stressful as you think it is. If you have some questions, I'm here for you, right? That's kind of like what we want to do right there. And we want to create 4 to 6 different versions of that. And we only want to run that ad to everybody who became a lead in phase 2. And there's a custom audience of all lead generation. So you just go create a custom audience, and you can say anybody who filled out a lead form on this business page, put them in this audience. Don't worry about which lead or anything like that. Just anybody that took the step to give you their contact info, that's that custom audience. The amount of money you're going to spend on phase 3 is 10 to 20% of the budget. So if you guys went to Arizona State and you're a math expert like I am, just kidding, that should add up to 100%. Okay. Or 100% of the budget. You can't change those numbers, because if you spend too much money on the 3rd campaign, Facebook won't let you spend it because the audience isn't that big. But think of those videos, and they're only video ads, no image ads, no text ads. These are straight up video. I'm pleading with you right now. It's kind of like it's the night before election. It's the final presidential debate. And it's like that final thing that I get to say, like, this is why you should vote for me. Please vote for me. That's what we're doing right now. Okay. You could use, I will tell you, in my personal experience, Calendly does not work well. Don't use Calendly for this. Nobody will book a call. It's too formal. You could either send them a page with that same video, and you could say, text me, or you could fill out a form. If you use a Calendly link, I'm telling you right now, your cost per lead is going to be it doesn't mean that it's not going to be, you won't get any leads. It's just going to be a lot more expensive, because people don't like using Calendly with people they don't know, because they feel like they lose an element of control. Okay. So we want to create 4 to 6 versions of that. That's 10, 20% of the budget. And like I said, the audience is anybody who filled out a lead form in phase 2. That's it. That's what we want to do. So why do we do this? Why do we go through this whole convoluted, like super confusing 3-phase ad approach? It's really simple. Are we okay if we go a couple minutes over? Yeah. Okay, cool. If you guys, I mean, if you're sick of hearing my voice, I understand it. Like, my wife's sick of hearing about me. So I'll
just press end when we're done.
Yeah, exactly. We're totally good. The reason why we do this is, number 1, when they get on the phone, like, you already did 80% of the work. That is the number 1 reason why we do this. We don't have to, like, I've got this. Why are you different? What's your commission? How much do you charge? How long have you been in the business? Are you a local area expert? Like, shut up. Don't ask me these stupid questions. And the only reason you're asking me these stupid questions is because you don't know who I am as a person. And that all they're telling you is that, look, I like you enough to get on a call with you, but I don't know anything about you. So I'm going to ask you the stupid questions. And I don't mean stupid like the client's stupid. I mean, they're stupid because I didn't do the required work that it gives them the safety to never ask those questions. Your friends never ask you about commission. Maybe they do. I don't know. But normally they just say, well, if David charges it, this must be what everybody else charges. They're okay with it, right? That's because we put in the work up front. So we want to do 80% of the sales up front. The second reason why we do all of this is I don't have the stat on me, but I'm going to be relatively close. Do you guys know how many times a day people log into Facebook on their phone? Like just opening up their phone, logging in, and just doing a quick scroll to see, oh, maybe I missed something. You guys know what the average logins per day is?
One of my favorite comments that you make is the number would make you puke. That's a comment.
All day long in chat, just so I can gauge the room. Maya says 15. No, Maya, you're way off. David's way off. No, Andy, good to hear from you. Oh, Heather's the closest one. The last number that I heard was 43 times. Dude, like, so here's the great thing about this funnel. You may think, oh, it's going to take forever to get an appointment. Some of these people are going to go through this entire 3-phase process in one day. Like, if your budget is high enough, the people that watch a phase 1 video or a reach video will see the lead generation, ad within an hour. And if they fill out the lead because they're thinking about, and keep in mind, nobody's going to download the 3 things you need to know to buy a home in Crested Butte before you make a move if they're not thinking of buying a home. So like, you need to understand that lead is going to be an expensive lead. It's not going to be a cheap lead, because if David doesn't buy a Lamborghini, he's not going to call a Lamborghini dealership and say, hey, can you send me the book about Lamborghinis? He's never going to do that. But if he wants to buy a Lamborghini, he's going to say yes to the deal that was 50 grand off and a 1 of 250, right? So that's why we do that. So they can go through that entire process in one day if you spend enough. If you're spending $1,500 a month, within 2 weeks, you're going to be like, holy shit, man, I'm onto something. But it's not going to be obvious. You spend $3 grand, I promise you right now, you will see results within 7 days. And if that's the one thing that you took from this whole thing, $3,000 a month, again, for all of you math experts, is about $100 a day. You spend $100 a day, $70 on phase 1, $20 on phase 2, $10 per day on phase 3. You won't even be able to spend $20 a day on phase 3 because it takes a while to build up that audience. You will see results within 7 days. I promise you 100%. You'll be like, I'm going to kill everything else. And I need to go buy a camera. I need to go get a light. I need to get pale skin like Steve does. And you just need to do this as much as you can. Right. Video reassurance question. Is DaVinci Resolve a new replacement for Descript? And you said shoot vertically. 2 things, Maya. Number 1, I shoot everything horizontally, but I post vertically. That would be the first thing that I would tell you, because once you film vertically, you can't make it horizontal. So it's just a safety thing. The script is really good if you're filming on your iPhone, or in my case, I know this sounds weird, but I use a Fold now. I will switch back to the iPhone 15 when it comes out. But if you're filming on your phone and you're using the good camera on it, the colors that come out of the camera are fine. You don't need to color correct or anything like that. Then I think the script is okay. If you're filming in RAW, like I film in, and 4K is important to you, and you want it to look good because I'm a musician and artist, like a perfectionist to a certain degree, then I think DaVinci Resolve is the way to go. The other reason why we use DaVinci Resolve is because you will never, ever, ever have an issue offloading your editing services to a VA overseas. That's the number 1 reason we use DaVinci Resolve. Because other than the transcriptions and some audio plugins, you can use the free version, and you can hire a VA and say, hey, do the edit, send me the editing thing back, and I'll add the transcriptions when you're done. And the workflow is super quick. You're never going to run into headway. All right. Okay. Common questions we get around this whole thing. Maya, thank you for chiming that in. How long does this funnel take? I already told you, if you spend enough, it can only take a day. Right? If you don't spend anything, you may never get any results. Some of you guys are going to think like, this is great. You're going to post 1 video and you're going to watch the ad manager every day. It's not going to do well. And you'll be like, I knew it. That Steve Olson guy was completely full of shit. Didn't work. It only works if you overcommit. And David and Heather, you guys did not tell me that there are any language rules. And I think that's only bad word number 4. So if I go over the legal limit of 5, let me know. If you only put 1 video up and 1 lead ad and 1 call to action, I'm telling you right now, like, go get on Lab Code Agents and complain about lead quality, because that's as good as it's going to get. You need to overcommit to video. Second thing I wrote, how many posts should I be including these ads? as many as you can. If you can do 50, I would do 50. If you can do 5, I would do 5. If you can do 1, don't start. If it takes you 97 times to record one video and it stresses you out and you get hair like me because of it, don't do this. You're not going to have success. Okay. Nobody cares about your video. Nobody remembers your video. Nobody knows what kind of, like, you guys have no idea what I'm looking at right now with the 2 lights. I have 3 mics on me just in case one fails, because that happens. I've got 2 cameras, a mic on that one. Everything's recording at the same time to make sure that when I'm done with this, I somehow don't screw this up, right? I pay for efficiency, not quality. I just want to make sure I don't have to redo it. Everything that I do is one take. I stutter. I cough, I say, my eyes wander, I do all that stuff that you guys do. And what I realized is when I edit the video to cut all that stuff out, and when I don't, it doesn't make a difference. It's not cheaper. It's not more expensive. I will tell you, the better your video looks and the better your audio is, the better the videos will do. The cheaper, like if you look like Heather with her background and her great lights, and same thing with David, and you run video, or you have some crappy iPhone 6 that has a blurry camera and you're at the ocean when it's really loud and windy and there's unattractive people in bathing suits behind you, don't get pissed when your video doesn't do well. It's not going to do well. Okay. I'm not saying that to start, you need to be professional. I'm just saying that once you understand the process and you get better at clarity and volume, and you understand like video standards and things start to look good, you will see that your ad campaigns will do better. It's not a reason to delay, though. If you can't afford all the microphones, like that, I'm not saying stop. I'm just saying that as you get better, you'll want to get better just by doing everything that you're doing, and you will see, because you're getting better and things look better, the ads will go better. Do I need a fully built out website? No. Everything that we do today, you can do with a phone, you can do with a Facebook lead ad, and you can do with a simple page, or you can just say, text me at this number. You don't need any technology with it. I will tell you, marketing automation CRMs and built out websites that people can research what you say, it will lower the cost of your ads. It will give people safety. It will help you in your conversion, but it is not required. What should my budget be? I wrote this. This is what I said earlier. The more money you spend, the quicker you'll learn. Not the more money you spend, the more money you make, because that's not always true. But the more money you spend, the quicker you'll learn faster what works and what doesn't work. Here, I wrote down 4 things for some final things to consider. And if you guys have any questions, throw them in chat. I'll answer them at the end, and I'll cut you guys loose, even though we're over time. The more people see your content, I said this earlier, the more successful they believe you to be. It's the easiest hack that's out there. Not fake it till you make it, not pretend like I'm already a luxury real estate agent. All you have to do is create, like, Heather, who do you I won't use Heather because we're in the same market. Kind of, not really. David, who do you consider to be the #1 agent in all of Denver?
Well, me, of course.
Other than you?
I can't even, I mean, at Real, Jordan Terrell's team is here, and they're pretty big. So I would probably say they're among the top.
I mean, I'm thinking of like the Treasure Davises, the Jeff Johnsons, and all these teams that I've coached over the years up there. And these are high unit teams, not high average sales price teams. And if I wanted to move to Colorado Springs and compete with Jeff Johnson and Treasure Davis, and I think Jeff is doing, I haven't spoken to him in a while, but he's probably somewhere in like the 600 or 700 unit a year. Same thing with Treasure. And you would think, like, why would I ever go to Colorado Springs and try to compete with that? You want to know the only way that I compete? I just create more content than they do. That's it. It's the only thing that you have to do. You don't have to have a better website. You don't have to have the pedigree. You don't have to be like, Heather's probably heard this living where we live. Oh, well, I wasn't born and raised in Carlsbad. What the does that matter? That doesn't matter whatsoever. Just out-create content over everybody else, and the perception will automatically follow. Again, if you're moving to a new market, new price point, new anything, just be honest that you're doing it for the first time. People will freaking love you with it. Everybody loves the underdog. Like, if you don't watch movies, then you don't know what I'm talking about. If you watch movies, everybody loves the underdog. Second thing I wrote down, what you think will work won't, and what you don't think will work will. What you think will work won't, and what you don't think will work probably will. That's just the joy of running video. So if you are overly romantically fantasizing about your own content and that banger short that you created, and if it bombs, you're going to get upset with that. Don't do what I'm telling you to do, because it's going to happen. I promise you it's going to happen, right? Number 3, I wrote down, if you do enough of this, you don't need to negotiate exclusivity or commission. probably the number one reason to do this whole thing. If you do enough of this, you will never need to negotiate commission or exclusivity. The last thing I wrote down, I already said this earlier, I'll tell you again, fame. And when I use the word fame, again, I'll give the credit to Sharon for this. Fame is not like Ryan Serhant. That's not what I mean by fame. What I mean by fame is recall, right? When people keep thinking, oh yeah, David Matthews, like Denver real estate, David Matthews, Denver real estate, Heather Connor, San Diego, Pacific Beach, like whatever. Like when they can associate whatever your brand is with what you do, you win, right? The easiest path to get whatever you want in this business is getting the most amount of people to know who you are and what you do. It's like I said, it's not the magic ad. It's not the magic lead form. It's not the magic saying that you heard at a conference. None of that stuff. I would still do all of that. I'm just saying, like, don't expect any results. That's just one tiny tool in your repertoire. So that is all I have. I thought, like, if you guys could believe this, I thought I would be done like in 40 minutes. And I just missed it by almost a half hour, but that's it. That's the whole thing. If you understood this and you did it, and because I've done this in 3 industries. This isn't a real estate funnel. This is like advertising 101. I've done this in 3 different industries. One person I'm thinking of, I won't use him by name. He is in a professional services business. He's not in real estate. $60,000 behind it. And that may sound like a lot of money per month. He was spending hundreds of thousands of dollars in direct mail, and the ROI he got by cutting his spend down like literally 70% and just doing this, which was still a massive budget, was like 40 times what he was getting with direct mail saturation. 40 times. So this isn't a real estate thing. This is a, look, I'm going to build fame. I'm going to do it, with my own checkbook. I'm going to take 18% of every closing I have, and I'm going to dump it into this fame thing. And the more people who know who I am, the more listings I get. The one thing I should have told you earlier is if you can lean 80% on selling your home, not buying a home, you will thank yourself, because the best buyers come off of listings, not advertising. So I probably should have led with that at the beginning. I would only talk about, as much as possible, the art of selling your home, not buying a home, because most people, when they sell, they got to buy anyway. And even if they don't buy in Denver, David still gets the referral fee going somewhere else, right? So and if all he talks about buying a home, if I don't want to buy in Denver, like, he's alienating, a good portion of that market. And I don't know how many people are leaving Denver. That is what it is. Okay, that's it. That's all I got. Hopefully that was good enough. Hopefully it inspires some of you guys to, like, stop staying on the fence with content and going all in. I will tell you, I've spent an obscene amount of money on ads. I'm not very good at organic. I had a call with my coach and with Sharon, 2 separate people, last couple, in both of them, soul and separate from each other, ripped me for having no organic. So we'll jump back into that. And I know that's one of our big things that we need to do. Yeah, you should watch this, but better, like, I don't want you to watch this 25 times. I just want you to start recording video. And I thought about you with half this stuff, moving to market, just document the move. That's it, right? Okay, that's it. Unless you guys have any questions, that's all I've got. Thank you so much for joining me, and I hope this is valuable.
This was awesome. Thank you so much, Steve. We'll have the recording sent out, and appreciate everyone for being here.
Amazing, you guys. Steve, this was amazing. And we will, in our follow-up, we always send out the replay, as you guys know. And for any of you that have further questions for Steve or want to know how to find more of his content, we'll send his contact information as well.
Awesome.
Thank you again, Steve.
We appreciate you.
Have a great day.
Likewise.
Everyone.